Hello and welcome. I am your host of What Are You Reading? What Are You Writing? Author Karen E. Osborne. I have 5 novels out. The latest is Justice for Emerson. I am so glad that you're here. This is a space for readers and writers to come together and talk about books. So today you get to meet Susan Paxton, and she has a new book out. It came out in January, and we're going to hear all about it. So, hey, Susan.
Hi, Karen. Hi, everyone.
Right. So let me just tell you just a little bit about her. Her book is called The Ocean's Edge. Now, I'm going to read to you what one reviewer said. The reviews are lovely. We have lovely reviews. I want you to hear this one. I like this one a lot. Addictive. The setting is the North Carolina Outer Banks, its charming villages offering a mix of culture and natural beauty. An atmospheric mystery with complex characters, cleverly woven storyline, and family drama elements with enough suspense to keep you turning pages long after lights out. I don't know that you can turn the pages after the lights are out, but we get what that person is saying, right? You're not going to get any sleep. You want to just keep on reading and reading and reading.
Hmm.
So, Susan, tell our audience about your writing journey. Did you always know you wanted to write? Did it come to you later in life? Tell us about that.
Well, I would say it really started when I was in college, and I had a couple of professors. I actually dedicated this book to them because they were so influential.
Hmm.
And even when later on, when I had times when I wasn't writing that much, it was always there. It was always in the back of my mind that this was something that I wanted to do. So I started then, and then I had stops and starts. And when my family moved to Southern California, the children were older, and so I took classes at the UCLA writers program.
Oh, nice.
That kind of lit the spark again. And so I really started writing. And even though I was teaching full time, and that took a lot of time, uh,
Mm.
I did manage to write 2 novels before I retired. So when I retired, I knew this was something that I wanted to do, and things just sort of developed from there. Wrote more novels, um, had one almost published. That didn't work out, but finally got to this one and finally was able to have a book published.
Congratulations. That's a wonderful thing. I tell my audience all the time, it's never too late. It's never too late. It's never too anything. It's not too early. It's not too late. Too is not a word we want to use. It is TOO. It's whenever you are ready, and you got to just keep pushing, right? Keep trying.
I feel like
So, hmm?
the word to describe me and my writing is perseverance because
Yes.
it took a long time, but I just kept working on it and kept working on it and kept working on it. And I think that you succeed if you do that.
I agree. And learning as we go, right? Learning, improving our craft, improving our marketing strategy, and we have to keep learning and persevering. Exactly right. So tell us about the Ocean's Edge. What's the review talked a little bit about the setting. Maybe you could add a little bit more and give us the premise of the book.
Well, the essentially the book is has a dual timeline. Like your book,
Mm.
Justice for Everyone,
Mm.
has a dual timeline. I was fascinated by that. Um, and so it involves teenagers, so there's a little bit of that YA element that I couldn't help but sneak in. And then the cast of characters when they're older. And the main character, Claudia, is someone who really has a psychic wound. And all characters have a psychic wound, but hers is such that it really hinders her from moving forward. And so she finds herself, she leaves the Outer Banks because she was just on vacation there, goes back to school, goes to college in the far west, but she's drawn back, she's pulled back to the Outer Banks because her brother had a very difficult time after something that happened while they were there this one summer, and he disappeared, and she's compelled to find him. And when she goes back to the Outer Banks to find him, she runs into these characters who she had met many summers ago and becomes entwined in their lives and their problems, and um, finds that if she's going to learn more about her brother, she's going to have to help them. And she's not wanting to do that because it's something that could be dangerous. And so she's got to decide, do I try to find my brother and do these things, or do I play it safe? And so she has to make that decision. Of course, she makes the decision not to play it safe. And
Yeah, because otherwise we wouldn't have a book, right?
exactly, exactly.
So the characters that she was getting involved in their lives, these are people who they knew when they were younger, and
Yeah,
somehow they were involved
yeah,
in, she believes that somehow they're involved with the disappearance.
yes, yes,
Mm.
right,
Do 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 do, right? It's a nice setup, wonderful setup. And you call it an atmospheric novel. Tell us a little bit about that part. What makes, because all books have a setting. So
right.
what makes this one an atmospheric novel?
Well, I think because weather does play an important role in the story. At one point, they are all trapped in a house that is right on the beach and in an area where many houses have collapsed in
Mm.
hurricane like weather. And so they're trapped there and they can't get out, and they have to try to figure out what they're going to do in this situation. And so, and then there are other times where the beach is beautiful and there are fond memories. So the beach has its times that are very scary, and it has times that are beautiful. But the other
Mm.
thing too is that riptides play a part in the
Oh boy.
story as well. So weather and the what's going on in terms of
Ocean and
right,
yeah, wow.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. My great grandfather died in a riptide. He was out trying to save his son, and it caught him and just took the both of them under.
oh that
Yeah. Riptides are scary and a
they,
good thing to add, a good element in a suspense book, right?
yes. I was
Yes.
trapped in a riptide one time that I didn't think I was going to get out of, and it was terrifying. Probably the
What
most.
did you do? How did you get out?
Well, this is back before everybody knew to swim side
Parallel.
parallel. And I don't know, I just instinctively did it. And
Mm.
going and going and going until I got out and was able to have the waves help me get back to the beach.
Wow. So did that experience kind of inform your book that get in there?
Yes, yes. And then I know I've met
Yes.
several other people who have been involved in riptides as
Mm.
well. So it just seemed to play a part.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. And important. It's so interesting how we authors pull little things from our lives, but also from strangers' lives. Someone tells us a story and we go, ooh,
Yeah, that
that could work in, could work that in.
I have,
So
I
go
have had
ahead.
say to me, um, "Oh, that book is your life." And I know all those characters who you're writing about. And my reaction is, well, how do you know them? Because I didn't know them until I started writing. But
Exactly.
in a way, that's a huge compliment that they think that
Yeah,
the characters are so realistic.
I think that's very true. People always come into close friends are always saying, that character, that's kind of me, isn't it? I go, yeah, there's a little of you in there, babe. Yeah. Yeah. But the characters, once you start writing them, they have minds of their own. They take us to places that we didn't intend. They say things that we go, whoa. So speaking of characters, so your main character, what is her name?
Her name is Claudia Mercer.
Claudia. So what do you love about Claudia as a
Well,
person?
I love the
And
fact that she has such strong family commitment, that this love of her brother is just something that forms her life. Um, and I also love that she's very honest. She's very straightforward. And in this situation, all these people are having secrets, telling half truths, and
mm,
she's got to unwind all of this and try to get to the truth. But she too starts telling half truths because it becomes something that she figures she's going to get what she needs from doing that.
so
So,
secrets and lies are in there
yes,
as well. Is there something that you as the author hope that Claudia will learn that she needs to learn, or something that makes you crazy about her, and you even though she's taking you someplace you're like, there.
well, there are times that I think she believes things and she accepts things that I go, well, I think everyone goes, why are you going along with that? Why are you doing that? That
Mm,
is crazy. So she does have that.
yeah, yes. And that, of course, makes for interesting characters and an interesting story. I
Right.
was just talking to a friend, a writer friend, right before coming on with you. And I asked her, was there something about her character that she wishes she would like outgrow? And so she said, well, she's very impulsive and she does things that, make people crazy because she just does it on the spur of the moment. But no, I don't want her to stop doing that because that keeps the books interesting. I want her to stay that way.
Yeah. Yes, right.
So, are you working on anything now?
I am. I'm actually writing a sequel. These characters just wouldn't let go. And so there's a lot more that needs to be revealed about their past, because they didn't tell a lot of the truth in the first book. So some of that comes out in the second book. But then also, I had another book that I had written, and there are parts about it that I liked a lot and parts that I didn't. So I'm pulling the parts that I liked from that other book into this one. And
Oh.
oh,
Huh.
I'm stealing from my own work and bringing in characters from this book and another book. And I'm hoping it's going to work. It's kind of tricky.
Well, it sounds like fun. Sounds like
It
a
is fun.
fun, yeah, fun project to take on. So, as you know, this is What Are You Reading? What are you writing? I always like to hear about what books kind of shaped you as a writer, or got or helped the way you think about writing, or just had a big impact on you?
Well, I would say that the books that had the most influence on my writing, and particularly writing of this book, one was Mexican Gothic. And
Ah,
it doesn't seem to really relate to this, but it does in terms of the locked room scenario. And I loved that idea of everybody being in one space and not being able to get out. I love that. And so that one, and it's also beautifully written. So I love that part of it. And I would have to say that Tana French, I love her books. I love the way she delves into the psychology of her characters and
mm,
brings that into the story so that that becomes part of the mystery as well. And so I've read all of her books and I just love them.
yeah, right. And have you read something recently that our audience might want to go and read? Can you recommend any recent reads?
Yes, I would recommend Justice for Emerson because it's a great book. I love the dual timeline and I really love the character of Emerson. I just think he's a wonderful character. I can see why you wanted to write him. He's great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Is there something else that you've read recently?
Yes, there is. There is a couple of things that I've read. James and Demon Copperhead, I love both of them because I just admire the way those authors were able to take a story, a famous story,
Yeah.
and turn it into something brand new. I think both of them are just fabulous, fabulous books.
Yeah, I love James. I haven't read the other ones. What was the name of the second one?
Demon Copperhead, and it's by Barbara Kingsolver, and
Oh, I
she
love.
is retelling David Copperfield.
Oh, I have to get that one. I have to read that.
It
I
is
love her writing. She writes so breathtakingly beautiful. And
uh,
James was really clever. It was a cleverly well-written, and now heavily celebrated, and rightfully so, book. So those are great recommendations.
the
You,
thing
Susan?
about James was that he the main character James um, is a teacher and he teaches the slaves how to speak slave because that is not how they speak. I thought that was a wonderful twist that I really loved. And then the same kind of thing throughout the whole story.
Yeah. Young people today call it switching. And you code switch, depending on who you're talking to, you change the way you speak, so that people can hear you. And sometimes young people feel forced to code switch. They feel like they have to. So that's another thing that resonated about James thought, because it was sort of like the original code switching. Yes. So I want everybody is so intrigued now. They want to read your book, and you can find her books everywhere you buy and borrow books. So Barnes and Noble, Amazon, your local library, your local independent store. And if they don't have it, just ask for it and they will get it like that. But if people want to be in touch with you, Susan, directly in touch with you, they want to be, your website, they want to be with you on social media, all of that. Tell them how they can find you.
Well, I do have a author's page um, with my publisher, and so they can find me there.
So what
And
does that say? What is that?
it's nextchapter.com, the author's edge. And then there is my website, Susan Tom Paxton author, that they can reach me there. I'm also on Goodreads and Instagram and What else am I on? Bunch of other places too.
But when they go to your website, they can find you all the other places, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
everything.
from your website. So that's yes. And you're going to be able to when you watch this show on YouTube, on my website, and on my Facebook page. So I don't know where you all are watching it, but it's going to be those other places as well. We thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed meeting Susan as much as I did. I hope you will read her book. I hope that you will write a wonderful review because reviews are so important to
Yeah.
us. And we just thank you in advance for writing reviews. And I hope that when you do meet Susan online or at a book event because you invited her, at your book club because you invited her, that you will tell her that you met her on what are you reading? What are you writing? Have a great week, everybody. See you next time.